Hi friends, and welcome back into my studio. If you are new here, my name is Tammy Ernest and I am a Longarm quilter, and here on my channel I like to share customer finishes as well as my own personal projects. So I have so much good stuff to share with you today. I'm so glad you've joined me, so grab something to drink and pick up your stitching, whatever you're working on, and join me for the next hour or so. I have so many fun things to show you. So I wanted to show you updates on my hometown holiday sampler. This was a quilt along last year that the Fat Quarter Shop did, and I am still continuing on. And wanted to show you the trees that I finished this week. These are the inner trees. Aren't they so cute? I just love them. Last week when I showed you, I had the a few of these flying geese units pieced and ready. I had all the pieces laid out on my design board, and I was able to finish both of these. So really cute, easy block, nothing difficult. They're mirror images of each, not mirror, they're the exact same block. Mirror would mean that, you know, the green that's on this side would be the green on this side, and that's not the way they are. They are the exact same block. They are put on either side of the house in the pattern. So I really could go ahead and join these, and then you can see there's some grass that goes underneath there, and I've got the other trees cut out. I'm ready to work on those, so just a little bit at a time here is what I'm working on. So love these blocks. They were super easy, really cute to do. Each one of the other blocks is different. So this one, the piecing is a little different. The blocks are a little different, all evergreen trees. A lot of the same fabrics, but mixed around in different areas. So just love the way these turned out. So I did not get a whole lot of personal sewing done this past week because we were out of town for most of the week. We did get an opportunity last week to go visit with Maggie up in Minnesota, and it was the first time for us to be at her house now that her and Spencer have gotten married, and she got to show us around the house. Thankfully the weather was absolutely wonderful. You never know traveling north in the wintertime, but every day that we were gone it was sunny. Every day that we were driving we had perfect weather, never ran into rain, even though here at home in Indiana they were getting rain and fog and just dreary weather. Farther north it was sunny. It even got into the 50s while we were up in Minnesota. Is that not crazy? So a little disappointing that we did not get to see the trailers and the huts and the fishing huts that they put out on the lakes up in Minnesota during the wintertime. The lakes were still frozen, even though it was 50 degrees out. The lakes were frozen. We were able to walk out on the frozen lakes for a little ways. I wasn't as adventurous as Spencer and my husband, but again, we're only probably 20 feet out. But it was super solid. I mean, you could see down, you know, the frozen part was still, the ice was still about this thick, even where we were. But they did have the huts and the campers pulled off because it was so warm. That top layer of ice, this is my understanding, that top layer melts just enough that when it refreezes, then those huts would be stuck there, frozen there, and you can't have that. So had to pull them off while they're still able to drive off. But very interesting, very neat. But thankfully we didn't get stuck in any snowstorms or bad weather. We had beautiful weather while we were up there. But once I returned, that meant I had a ton of boxes to go through. When I went to the post office our first day back, they said, just meet us around back because we're going to have to bring them out on a dolly. And that was kind of crazy. But I wanted to show you one of the surprise packages that I received in the mail when I got back. Was a gift from Fat Quarter Shop, and I did not know this was arriving, and I was so thrilled when I got it. So thank you, Fat Quarter Shop, for gifting this to me and allowing me to share this with sorry for the crinkle, Oh, sorry about that. Allowing me to share this with my audience here. So let me show you. So everything that I'm going to show you is Kimberly's color, all done in her colorway. A great way to brighten up your sewing space. This is called Marina, so it's all in Kimberly's blue color. So the first thing they sent was this So Creative book. What is so neat about this book is this is perfect for all your quilting plans, because on the left-hand side, it's done in a grid, so you can plan out a block, you can plan out a quilt. If you're like me, I have been in a fast food restaurant and sat down and drew out on napkins a quilt that all of a sudden I was wanting to work on and had inspiration to do. So, so this is great that you've got the grid on one side and then lines on the other side so you can write out your notes. This is a super thick book. You've got lots of room for inspiration there. There are 2 bookmarks. So you have this kind with just the ribbon, but then I also love that it has this in the back. Now you can use this elastic band in the back to keep it closed, but a lot of times I will use that elastic band not just to keep it closed, but to mark a spot in my book as well. So just like that, you can mark a spot in your book so that it opens right up to that. So 2 bookmarks, lots and lots of pages in this. This would be a great, this is called the Quilty Journal, So Creative Quilty Journal. Love the quilt block on the front, so it's marked that it's my quilting journal. Don't touch it for anything else, right? The next thing that was included in the box, I have not seen these, and I am super excited about this. So these are metal quilt block bookends, or you can use them as shelf decor. Let's try to move them down where you can see. So bookends, aren't these pretty? So a white metal, very heavy enough that they'll keep your books up straight. I'm not going to say super heavy, you know, because you don't want something super heavy, but they are weighted in the bottom here with this solid metal plate here. You've got the beautiful quilt block. I love that. So they go together so you can keep all your quilting books, but then also have very nice decor on your shelf. I love that they're white. I really like that. So that was in the box, and then I have to show you the next thing. Then they sent the Fat Quarter Shop exclusive Marina Master Set, Kimberly's 2025 Kimberly's Color. So let me show you what's in this box. And this is available for you to purchase as well. This is on the Fat Quarter Shop. It's all exclusive to them. So you'll want to get it through them, but I love, love, love what's in this box. So first of all, there is Kimberly's Color, the Marina. It's a double-sided cutting mat. I love to have these next to my sewing machine. So you've seen my sewing setup for my personal stitching upstairs, and I have my sewing machine on an old desk, and I have that top drawer. I love having drawers with my sewing machine. So in my top drawer is where I keep these little cutting mats like this and a little rotary cutter there, so that instead of having to get up and do small little trimming of blocks and things, small things, I don't have to get up and do it behind me at my cutting station. I'm pointing right here, but you understand that that's upstairs. When I'm sitting at my sewing machine, my cutting station is behind me. So I love having these little mats in my little drawer right in front of me. I can just pull them out, trim up the blocks that I'm working on, and not have to get up from my chair. So love the color. Also included in this box set is Alphabetties in the Marina Color. Love that. So the Alphabetties, if you're not familiar with this is a way to mark your blocks as not just your blocks, your pieces. So if you're cutting, piecing, you know, like I was doing for the Hometown Holiday Sampler, I can put these are letters and numbers, so you can mark your cutout pieces with the letters that they correspond to, so that you don't have to keep looking back at the pattern and figuring out which block is A, which block is B, or which piecing is A and B. You can have it marked with the Alphabetties. So come in this Marina Color if you get the whole box. Then also included is a stash and store. Look at the size of this one. Marina, it doesn't tell me the size, but this is large because I know I have a smaller one than this upstairs. So what I plan on doing with this one is I'm going to put this one in my cart so that I can have it on that top that top rack of my cart, and then I can put my pins in here, my seam ripper, the little tool that I use to bury my threads. Everything will be able to stand up nice and neat instead of having everything just thrown in the top of that cart. So a stash and store, love these. Perfect for setting next to your cutting table. You can put your pins and your scissors and your seam rippers and all of that, or on your desk. You can use these in an office as well. It doesn't have to be just for sewing. So, and then the last thing in the box, I have seen so many others have these, and this is the first one that I have. So this is a project bag, and this is called, I know it has a special name, and that's why I have this crinkly paper. Mad. It is called Mad for Plaid Project Bag, and so this is in that Marina color. So cute. So nice big zipper on the top, nice spacing to put all your projects in. I have seen others, because this is done in a plastic canvasy type of material, you can cross stitch right on the bag, and I've seen others do that. That's such a cute idea, and I like that. So really cute, nice big size project bag. All of that is included in this master set called Kimberly's Color. So I will link this down below. Thank you, Fat Quarter Shop, for sharing this with me. I am super thrilled to get to use these products, and just love that they sent that to me. So also, this is February, and February is Valentine's month, obviously, and Fat Quarter Shop is doing a stitch along in the month of February. They have 2 free patterns for you to grab. So the first one is a quilt pattern. This is their Little Loves. This is a quilt along going along here in February, and so this is a free pattern. They do have a quilt kit for it if you're wanting to get the quilt kit. But how cute is that? So this measures 22 by 30. This would be great for a wall hanging in your sewing room for the month of February. Now also they have a free cross stitch pattern. This is also the Little Loves, and I will be stitching along with Fat Quarter Shop in the Be Mine stitch along going on in February. They have this free pattern that's called Little Loves. There is a bundle that you can get to that has a pink project bag like the blue one I just showed you. It has the DMC for the DMC floss that you would need for this pattern. It has floss drops. It has a needle mind, or not a needle minder. It is a charm, a Just My Type enamel charm that you could hang from your bag. So that is a bundle that you can purchase from the Fat Quarter Shop. The pattern itself is free. I have chosen not to do this one for February, but instead I am doing the Heart and Hand Mementos of the Heart. I have bought the booklet Mementos of the Heart. This is put out by Heart and Hand, and I am doing the little drum that's on the top. So this booklet has 7 projects in it. A lot of them are the Collector's Heart series that Heart and Hand has done in previous years. So I bought the booklet because I want to do the drum that's on the front, and mine is on its way, and I'll be sharing my progress throughout February. That's what I'll be stitching on in February, besides some other projects that I have going on as well. But if you want to be a part of the Be Mine stitch along, you just want to do a free pattern, you probably have the DMC in your stash and some linen or some Ada that you can work on, so you'll want to grab this pattern. If not, you'll want to grab the bundle as well. But I think it's a great time. I was wanting to do something for Valentine's Day, and so was looking on Fat Quarter Shop for some Valentine's Day cross stitch, because I don't have any in my, you would think, you know, but I don't. I wanted to do something for Valentine's Day. So when I saw the Be Mine stitch along and the Little Loves, I thought, well, I don't really want to do this, but I fell in love with the Mementos of the Heart, the little drum on the cover of that book. So that's what I purchased. Can't wait for it to get here so I can stitch along in February. So excited. So many good things. And February means we're really not that far away from spring, right? So we're going to enjoy February and all the fun things that we can do in February, and then move on to springtime. Another thing that arrived prior to me going to Minnesota, but I didn't have a chance to share it with you, was my January Sew Sampler Box. So I wanted to show that to you as well. So this one is called Embracing New Possibilities. and there's always a good coupon on the back. They also have an invite for the 2025 Designer Mystery. If you are interested in that, you'll want to get started. Save your spot for that because that starts in June. And then there's always another quilt pattern on the back of this card that you can use the pre-cut for that is in the box. So I'm so excited because this month's pre-cut is by Basic Gray, and not did we get one or two. We got 3 charm packs in this month's box. Is that not incredible? So a charm pack is a curated line. It's a designer's line, and they cut them into 5-inch squares, so all of the fabrics are going to match. They're all part of that same line. And this is Sunday Brunch by Basic Gray. Let me pull this down. I don't want to take it out of the packaging because I like these things to stay nice and pretty on my shelf until I'm ready to use them. So let me show you some of the fabrics from this line. So we have some florals. I love the colors. I just love the colorway of this. So some florals. This is a tone on tone. Look at these prints. Oh my goodness. Look at the circles there. I might have mentioned this before, but when I was a kid, I would sit and draw around the bottom of a can, and I would draw circles all over a page, and then I would color in the different sections, and that's kind of what that looks like. A little more planned than mine was when I was doing that, but oh, I love that. Oh, and look at that one. Love the pinks and the aquas and the browns together. I really like that color combination. All right, so a little bit darker brown, a striped. Ooh, I like that one. And then we move into the pink florals. Try to flip through these. Oh, I like these. I really like this color. Some pink stripes. Then we have the pink with the circles. And then we get a little darker. Look at that. It's kind of like a grungy, orangey, peachy. And then some stripes in that one. Now move on to the yellow floral. All right, and then there's that same design in the yellow, the gold. I'd say it's a golden sunflower type yellow, like that too. Then the circles, and then we move into, there's that grungy in the darker gold, and then we move into the aqua kind of colors, the florals, the stripes. I like that design. And there's a tone on tone with some circles. There's the circle. Ooh, I like that one too. All right, and then a little darker. I like that there's just that the shade darker in there too, and then the grungy type of look. Really nice line. I like this. So it's springy, but it's a little muted type of spring, and you know me, I like the muted colors, so I really like that. So if you like that too, Sunday Brunch, that's Basic Gray. You can get the charm packs. Charm packs are 5-inch squares, so if you've got a project that you won't need to cut, if you just get the 5-inch squares, find a pattern for a pre-cut like that. Now, there were a couple of different patterns besides the one that was on the back of the card. There is this Fresh Start pattern. So this uses all 3 charm packs and just some additional yardage depending on the size of quilt that you want. So this pattern has a 72 by 72 inch quilt, but also a 72 by 89 inch quilt. And just those 3. And I like how it's almost kind of like the chandelier type. It's 2 blocks, super simple. It's not hard from looking at it. This is called Fresh Start. Now this is exclusive to the box. So there are some of these boxes still available a la carte, which means you pay a higher price, but you don't have to have a subscription to buy it. So if you're interested in this pattern, you're going to have to buy the box because this pattern is exclusive to the January sampler box. The second pattern that's included in here is actually an English paper piecing pattern. Not only did they include the pattern, but they've included the other notions that you need to be able to do English paper piecing, and I'll show those in just a second. So this is a table runner, 15 by 49, and it's done in a color wash fashion, meaning we start with the darker reds, move into the pinks and the yellows, and then on to the aquas, just about the same way that the fat quarter, The bundle is done. You can kind of see from the side how we have the lighter ones. We go from the pinks to the yellows to the aqua colors, and that's exactly how this pattern is done. So this is English paper piecing. If you've never done English paper piecing, then this would be a great way to start. Or there was also, Fat Quarter Shop has a kit done by Paper Pieces that would be a great way. It's a starter bundle to learn how to do English paper piecing. But included in the box is all of the paper templates that you would need to create the blocks for that quilt. And let me show you what I mean by that. So let me open this up. So included in this Paper Pieces pack, and this is made just specifically for this pattern, you have these elongated hexagon shapes, and this is how you create the X's on the block here. Okay, so how you do this is you have your Fat Quarter, I keep saying Fat Quarter, this is your charm pack. You would put one of these on the back side of your fabric, whichever one you've chosen. You lay that on the back side. Now I'm just going to lay it here. You can you can do it one of two ways. You can either cut out your square, cut all of these in half. I haven't looked at the pattern or whatever, but all of these in half, and you just have your big square. You can trace this on the back side. You can keep this paper here and just cut 3/8 of an inch away from the paper, whatever. But then the idea is then you leave this paper in and you're doing your hand piecing. English paper piecing is hand piecing. You're folding over each one of those edges and stitching basting lines through the paper. And then once you get it all together and you then follow the directions to hook those together with the other ones, then you can take those basting stitches out and pull the paper out, reuse the paper as long as it's still in good shape. So inside this paper pack, not only do you have the elongated hexagons, you also have triangle shapes like this. And that is how this quilt is done. So a great introduction to English paper piecing if you've not done it before. Also included in the box, like I said, they included all the notions you would need for doing English paper piecing. They included size 10 needles by John James. Sorry, let me just pull that out of the package because that's going to be super glary. All right. These are Golden Glide Milliner's needles by John James in the size 10. So you're going to need a sharp needle for your hand piecing, your English paper piecing. So they've included that in the box. And they have also included this organic, this is called Scan Fill. This is done in the color of coconut milk. This is organic thread, has a slicky type of silky feel to it. So it glides through those pieces very easy. It's a cotton thread, 100% cotton. It feels super nice. So 100% organic, and they've included, this comes in many different colors. This is the color that they included here. This is a nice big spool, and this will be perfect for doing the English paper piecing in this. So everything you need to do the English paper piecing. Have the pattern, have the pieces, have the needles, have the thread, and have the fabric. So all of that is included in the box. So these paper pieces are done by a company called Paper Pieces. This was done specifically for the Sew Sampler box. But these are available in hexagon shapes. They're available in the tumbler block shapes. They come in many different sizes of packages. So not only sizes of hexagons, but also how many you want in a package. So I will link those down below. You can, if you're interested in a quilt that uses those, maybe grandmother's flower garden or something that uses the hexagons, you can choose the size of hexagons that you want. So instead of cutting out or copying and then cutting out all those paper pieces, you can have them already done for you. I like the weight of this paper. It's not cardstock, but it's not just your copy paper like you would do from through your own copy machine. It's in between those two. So you would definitely be able to use this a couple times if you pull it out gently from your pieces, and but it's not so thick that you won't be able to get through it with your needles. So I like the thickness that they have chosen there. Inside each one of these packages, is they include instructions about preparing your fabric, basting your paper pieces, 3 different ways. You can do glue basting, different ways of preparing your fabric ahead of time. So this little insert is included with every package of paper pieces that you get. So that's a great thing as well. So I know many people are looking for handwork. Maybe you're not a cross stitcher, but you're looking for something that you can do in the evening while you're sitting watching TV or riding in the car. Sometimes when you're away from your sewing machine, you still want to be working on something that's productive. So English paper piecing would be a great way to go. So last thing in the box is block number 10 of the Peaceful Baskets Quilt Along. Oops, sorry about that. I dropped the thread. Let me show you this one. This is called the Checkerboard Basket. This is block number 10, so we only have 2 more. I already have my finishing kit, so as soon as I finish with the 12th block, I'll be able to put this together. So uses Shoreline by Camille Ross Kelly. And I do have my block finished. This is one other thing I finished this week. So these are very large blocks. I want to say they finished 17.5 exactly. And so the checkerboard, I enjoyed putting this block together. I really, really did. So probably the only tricky part were these blocks here, where you have half the checkerboard and then half of the little green print coming out of the basket. So this was done. You did cut these blue pieces into triangle shapes, and then it added them to the white piece on the corner, but it went together really well. So you were stitching this line on the bias. I didn't have any trouble. It finishes just a tad bit bigger than it needed to be, so then I trimmed it down. I like that. I prefer that. I would prefer to make things a little bit bigger and trim them down than to have it come out the exact size and my size not be right. So I like that. So super easy. You've seen these blocks many times. The only thing that changes is the center. I mean, the fabrics of the block, of the basket change. This green stays the same. Background stays the same, but it's this inner part that changes each month. And the other nice thing is when you're doing these, the handle part is the same each month as well, because that can be a little tricky. You are making tiny little half square triangle block. You can see that one right there. This is a half square triangle block. But the whole handle goes together the same way each month. So it's super easy to, you kind of have that muscle memory in your brain of how I did this last month. And so it goes together super well. Really excited about that. And all right, it's already February, so my next box will probably be arriving soon. I just got a little bit behind the game the end of January with us being out of town. So my Cupid box should be here anytime as well. I'm excited to see what the projects are in that. I did look to see about the finishing kit. It's not available right now. I do have it in my cart though, so I'm trying to decide, do I order the finishing kit before I see the quilt, or do I wait till I see the quilt and then order it right away if it's what I want to make? So I haven't quite decided that yet. But anyway, that is all that's going on in my personal sewing. How about we move on to some customer quilts, and then I will see you again at the end. I have 3 quilts to share with you that are Jan's today. This first one is called Fat Quarter Flowers, and this is a free PDF by the Fat Quarter Shop. So here are, I'll link this down below. It says it's a shortcut pattern. It requires 10 fat quarters for this 52 by 65 size that Jan has done, but they also include sizing for a crib size quilt. Then there's also one for a twin, which would be larger than this one, and then even for a queen size. So you have 4 sizes for this. For this size, like I said, this would take 10 fat quarters plus some background fabric, but here's your entire quilt right here. and or the entire pattern, and it's done in blocks. You can see this, so you'll want to print this off. Great use of fat quarters if you have it, a curated line or a scrappy one. Either one, this would work really nicely. So Jan has used the fabric line called March Balloons. This is a Frank Lloyd Wright fabric collection. I love the muted colors on this one. You knew I was going to say that, didn't you? Even the turquoise. I love the rust and the browns and the golds. And then there's some turquoise thrown in, and then there's a little bit of a rosy color. But this is kind of the inspiration fabric right here. Classic Frank Lloyd Wright kind of design. And then that pulls all the colors from the rest of the quilt. So this would be a great idea, even if you're doing this scrappy, is to pick one fabric that you know, adds some interest, maybe a floral or something else that has lots of colors, and then pull your other scrappy fabrics to match that one fabric there, and then you have a very nice cohesive quilt. This is done in blocks, like I showed the pattern there. I like how you even have these little squares off the end, so it's almost like there's more stars coming. They're just further down the quilt, so I kind of like that. For the pantograph, when choosing a pantograph for this one, my inspiration again was that this fabric right here. If you notice this fabric, it's got circles in it, and it's called March Balloons. So kind of a modern feel, you know, Frank Lloyd Wright, the very architectural lines and things, but it's got these circles, and I thought with the lots of diagonal and straight lines to this, a circle was going to be really nice. But I didn't want anything that had a circle with a wave going through it. I didn't, you know, a lot of pantographs are done where, you know, like if you can remember, like the rock and roll petite that we've had, where it's a wave and then you have your circles above and below it. I really wanted something that was going to mimic this same type of a design right here. So if you see this design, it's overlapping circles, but in kind of a random pattern. Small ones, large ones. Looking for a pantograph, I went through what I had already, didn't have anything that really matched this. So I did go on to Urban Elements, and I found one that was perfect. So it has just lots of circles, and they're overlapping, but not with any type of a row or a straight line, not any type of a wave or anything like that. It's just circles. And actually, when I pulled this in, the rows were separated, and I even shrunk the rows so that the one row was overlapping into the other, because I really wanted it to be a cohesive design, and I didn't want there to be space in between the rows. So I shrunk this up so that this row comes up and crosses over the row above it. So a great pantograph to stitch out, because there's no lines to match up. If something crosses over, that's the way I want it. So I did use a cream color thread on this one. The background fabric here is more of a creamy muslin type of color, not a white at all. Then just wanted to bring this in so you can kind of see the detail of this print too. I like this. It's very subtle. It's a color, it's a tone on tone with all of these prints, but there is a texture there as well. The background fabric she chose is a creamy, more of a white on the back, but it's got, again, the same geometric shapes, but they're more rectangle, square, kind of biased edges, rounded edges there, and so the circle pattern just fits very nicely with this. I love the way this one turned out. It was a lot of fun to pick a pantograph and to find something to use that as my inspiration. Just something about the quilt. You know, looking at the quilt, is it the fabrics? Is it the design? Do I want to complement? Do I want to contrast? You know, those are all kind of things that go through my mind when I'm looking at a quilt like this. And so when I looked at it and I saw that fabric, that's really what I wanted to pull from. And you could look at this and you could see something totally different and pick a totally different pantograph, and that's perfectly fine. The client gave me, you know, Jan said it's up to you, whatever your choice is, and so I pulled the inspiration from that one fabric of the circles and used that. So very nice, really love this one. Jan's second quilt. This pattern is called Bobbin Blooms, and this was done by My Sew Quilty Life. I believe this pattern was in a Sew Sampler box, so you're not going to be able to get it, but you still can get the fabric line. So the fabric line is called Flower Girl. Bobbin Blooms was done by Heather Briggs of My Sew Quilty Life. Not sure I said that correctly. So springy, very pale, light colors, yellows and peaches, a very light tan, florals, some stripes, some ginghams with little flowers in them. So the bobbins, your flowers are coming, sorry, you can't see that one. You have a bobbin and the flowers coming up. These alternate back and forth. So you could do this as just half the quilt and have like a table runner. This full quilt measures 42 by 46. The background fabric, this one looks like a white, a solid white. And then the background, and this backing fabric is also just a white solid. So I think you can see the pantograph really well on this one. I could have gone florals, and I know I've done another one of these quilts where I do think I did florals on it. I didn't go back and look, but I don't know, something struck me and I thought, I think I just want to do something different. So you might remember this pantograph from a month or so ago. This is called crosshatch. This is called lattice crosshatch, and I like this. I think it's just a neat lattice kind of, you know, with a floral theme, but not going flowers on top of this. Adds tons and tons of texture on here. So you have like sashing in between the squares of lattice on there. So a crosshatch on the inside of those squares, but then you have a little bit of a sashing. This is set on point, which I think was a nice addition to this quilt because everything is very straight horizontal, so adding that diagonal dimension was really nice. Did use a white thread on this one. The backing fabric is white. The backing fabric on the back is white. The background fabric is white, so white was the perfect choice just to keep everything light and airy. So this is one of those pantographs. I think it works really well on a smaller quilt. The larger the quilt you had, it's going to be a little more difficult to keep it all straight and lined up, but for a smaller one where your fabric's not shrinking too much and you know, just you're able to control, I guess, a little bit more the matching up, and not that any point is matching up to one exactly on the row above it. It's more that you're keeping that spacing so that all of your diagonal lines look like they're lined up. Again, you're not matching any specific points, but you really want to, just for the look of it, you want to make sure that those diagonals are matching up and not, you know, coming up here and then the other one is jagged or something. So I think this works really well on smaller quilts. I've not done one on a larger quilt. It may be a little more challenging there, but a really nice effect for this smaller quilt. And Jan's third quilt, I do believe again that this was a pattern in a Sew Sampler box. And the pattern is called Spring Ivy. I'm not able to find it on Fat Quarter Shops, which makes me think, and just in my memory, I'm kind of thinking it was from a Sew Sampler box. Obviously, I've not made mine if it was. The fabric line, though, is still available. This is called Clover and Dot. This is by Allison Harris of Cluck, Cluck Sew, and she did that for Wyndham Fabrics. So uses jelly rolls. 2.5 inch strips is how you're creating this, all of these blocks. So vines running up with your, it says it's ivy, so vines running up, and then you have your leaves on either side. 3 columns there. This one might have worked well if you wanted more of a modern feel, using the even flow that I used on that other Robin Pickens quilt just a minute ago, but I decided to go floral for this one. So white thread, we've got a white background fabric, and on the back, and again, it is a white background. So stuck with the white thread, which is the Omni Natural White. The pantograph on this one is called Swirly Foliage, and this is a new one to me as well. So it's got some sorry about that. It's got some flowers right here, a 4-petaled flower, and has some swirls in there. It has a little bit of I guess you want to say it's ivy. It's got some 4 little leaves off of it. A lot of texture. I did shrink this down so that we get a very dense pantograph. I really like this one. Fills in this negative space really well, but the colors and the pattern from the spring ivy really pop out. It's not overtaking that at all. But in the background, you're really seeing a lot of the florals, the flowers in here, and the spirals, and I like this. I like the density of this one. I like that it added so much texture to it. Still a floral, you know, and in this fabric, we have some florals in the fabric. You have some knit type or some leafy type ones, a little bit of floral here. It's more a little bit of floral on this on the melon color there, but a lot of it is straight lines and dots, polka dots, a little bit of florals. So I wasn't afraid to add the floral on top of that. I didn't think like it was too much floral, especially because the pattern itself is really just leaves. There's not any big flowers. So I like the addition of the flowers in the pantograph itself with the white thread. Again, you're going to see the quilt first when you walk into a room, whether it's on a bed or on a chair or up on the wall. And then when you get in close, you're going to see the white on white, the texture that's created in the background with the quilting. So really, really like this one. The quilt measures 50 by 57, so it's a nice lap size quilt. And Jan did such a nice job. I really like it. This is Susan's quilt, and this pattern is called Smarty Pants. This is by Lella Boutique. This uses fat quarters, 10 fat quarters. And then you just need a background print. You see this lovely floral print that she has, and then a little bit of white to go inside your squares. I like how this is set. It's not a grid pattern. It's done in you know, a little bit of a diagonal back and forth, a little, I just like that, and a nice mix-up. This fabric line is Bountiful Blooms by Sherry and Chelsea. I guess I had not been up close to this line because I'd stitched this whole thing, and then when I sat down to, or I quilted this whole thing, and then when I sat down to find the links for everything, it said Bountiful Blooms by Sherry and Chelsea. I'm like, that was a Sherry and Chelsea colorway? I guess I'd not been close enough to this fabric line to realize this. So usually Sherry and Chelsea do very bright oranges and yellows and reds and turquoise. This one's a little more muted, and I really like it. I did not realize this was one of their lines. So a little more of an olive, a little more of a mauve-y color, pink, and some grays. And some blues, like an aqua blue. This background print that Susan has used is all part of that same line, and it's got just little florals, little green dots, little florals in this mauve, and then a little bit in the orangey melon color. So she's done a nice job of combining the fabrics together, so your outside blocks are the larger pieces, and then you've got a 9-patch inside, and she's done a nice job of combining the colors together. I really like this. The background fabric, the backing fabric, also part of that line, a little bit of a different from the front, but it's still that same floral, white background, and then the florals are on top, little sprig of 3 together. Really cute. I like the colors of this one. So for the pantograph, we went with a new one. This is called Boujee, B-O-U-J-E-E. And I found this one online and just thought it was really, really cute. Let me hold this up so you can see. Hopefully you can see. All right, so a 4-petaled flower stitches out in rows like this, and very chunky, very very full. I really like this one. So a nice round circle in the middle. It stitches out one on top of the other, but then there's a little diamond in between each one, and then that diamond is also done in between the rows. So the flowers, flowers, flowers with a little diamond in between, and then there's also a diamond in between the rows. I really like that. Super easy to stitch out. It may look more complicated than it actually was, because the this diamond shape underneath is stitching out the same time as this flower, and then it comes across and does this diamond shape, and then as it's doing this flower, it drops down and does this little diamond down here. So the lines are really cute. It's a nice dimension. I like that little diamond in there. Did use white thread, the natural white from Omni, white background fabric there. Keeps it light and bright on the front. And my flowers here, probably about 3 inches tall. And by doing that little diamond in between the rows, it's almost like it creates this extra effect around the flower, almost like it's echoed, but it's really not. It's just this diamond right here. But when you add it in right here and right here and right here, then it almost looks like it's echoing around that flower. So really, really nice. I liked this pantograph. It stitched out really nice. You do see the binding around here. I like this mauve color binding. Susan asked that she sent this along, and I attached it to the front, and then she will finish doing the hand stitching to the back. So Susan's quilt is very nice, and that'll be going back home. This is Carolyn's quilt. Is this not so adorable? Oh my goodness. I don't know what the story is behind this or who this is going to, but it's obviously done for somebody who either has a pig farm or loves pigs, something. This is absolutely so cute. So Carolyn says she created this using the books by Lori Holt, Farm Girl Vintage 1, Farm Girl Vintage 2. This is so ingenious. Oh my goodness. So all of the patterns inside those 2 books are done in 6-inch and 12-inch sizes. So if you can see what she's done a pig block in the 12-inch size. Then let me show you this. So here's Farm Girl Vintage 2. So here is the pig block, and so she's done that and the pig block is named Penny Pig Block, and she's done that in the 12-inch size. And then she's done the sunflower from Farm Girl Vintage 1. Now she's actually combined 2 different blocks for that one. So one is called the Sunny Sunflower block, and you can see that one right here. And then right next to it is this Crops block, and she has used that at the bottom to be the stalk for the sunflower. Ingenious. So both of those are 6-inch blocks, so that those 2 together then are 12 inches tall, just like the pigs. And so then she's combined those 2. On the pigs, she's done tiny little French knots for their eyes, and then a little embroidery stitch here for their curly tails. I love it. And then if you notice this strip right here, those are all Lori's, what does she call them? Those are from Farm Girl Vintage 1 as well. And those are called her apron string blocks. And again, the pattern is written for both 6 and 12-inch sizes. So she has done all 6-inch sizes and then put those all together, and then it has the same. So there's 2 for the pig, 1 for the sunflower, 2 for this pig, 1 for the sunflower, 2 for this pig. So her math is perfect. It all lines up. Just so adorable. So those are the lines in between. And then she goes into another pig row, another apron strings row, another pig row. So 3 rows of pigs, so 9 total. 2 rows of the apron strings blocks and then sunflowers in between those. It's so gorgeous. All reproduction fabrics, and maybe that's why I love it too. She said she used all reproductions from her stash. Said, what was it? She said, unfortunately, this quilt didn't make a dent in the amount of my scraps. We can all relate to that. So she has done such a nice job putting this together. And then she's done a couple of borders. She's done a kind of a tannish border, and then a lighter beige one, and the darker brown around the outside. And then look at her fabric on the back. It's all this pig fabric with glasses, with roses. I mean, it's just so funny, with Valentine hearts. It's just so funny. So I just love how you can use these books and create your own quilt. And I just love what she's done. It's very remarkable. I love the pinks of the pigs too. They're just really cute. For the pantograph, we chose the diagonal plaid on the bias cut. Didn't need something super busy on this one. I like the diagonal plaid bias cut. I think it adds a lot of texture. I like it on farm type quilts. I just think it adds in, I don't know whether it's chain link fence kind of look or something. Not that we're going for that, but it's a lot of texture, and it doesn't take away at all from the fabrics, the design of the quilt. It just adds a lot of texture on there. I did use the Omni 3068, which is beige. This is a little darker than cream, but I just felt with the reproduction fabrics and that it blended better than a cream. A cream may have been a little too bright, and like on these, it just blends right in. With the dark brown border, I wanted the beige. It's noticeable on that. Reads more like a cream on the dark brown, but really just blends in with the rest of this, and it's just so cute. So her final quilt measured 66 by 69, and I just think she did an incredible job on it. This is Maria's quilt. This is really, really gorgeous. So this pattern is called Flower Girl. This is by Camille Roskelley, and Maria used the Dwell line, which is also by Camille Roskelley. This is fat quarter friendly. So all of the flowers that you're seeing are fat quarters, and then you do need some white background fabric to create the blocks. The original pattern measures 78 by 96. Maria has added an extra border around the edge. Let me show you that. She's added an extra blue border around the edge so that her final quilt measures 86 by 103. Really, really nice. These are nice big blocks. You've got your center and then the florals around it, and all the leaves are done in the greens, the blues. You've got some of your reds in there, large floral print. Then the backing fabric that she has used is one of Camille Roskelley's blue floral lines. I love this. She actually did piece the back. There are some extra pieces down the middle. Let me see if I can get to them. So I just went ahead and flipped the whole thing over so you could kind of see. She actually did 2 different pieces. So over here is a large floral. Over here is the light blue with the white polka dot, both Camille Roskelley prints. And then she's done some of the other pieces from her fabric from the Dwell line down the middle, and she's done a nice job of piecing the 2 together. With these large quilts, it's just very difficult to get one piece of anything, so piecing this together, she's done a really nice job. And then I think you can see the pantograph pretty easy. This is called Floral Felicity. This is by Barbie Mills of the Quilting Mill. This is another new design that I picked up, and I thought this went really well. So it's got a spiral in here. It's got a 5-petaled flower with some little leaves that echo out, and then the spiral, and then the feather on the back of that spiral, and then a little flower with little leaves, and then it just continues to do that across the quilt. I did use the Omni white, the natural white on this one, with the colors of the fabrics. The white was the best choice, kept it light and bright, and I love the floral theme along with this. So the flowers on the front, much bigger. The flowers on the front are really large, and so by adding a lot of the spirals and the feathers and the little bit of a flower, so it is a floral. It's called Floral Felicity, but there's really only one flower in it. The rest of it is large spirals, and then the large feather on the back of that spiral. So really, really pretty. Just kept with the whole feminine feel of this quilt, and just the softness and the daintiness of it. And I think it really went well. I didn't make this super tight. I mean, it probably 8 inches. I do believe this was 8 inches now that I'm thinking about it. I think my height was 8 inches. It does nest up into the other one a little bit, not not terribly much, but enough that the design is nice and cohesive over the quilt top. So Maria did a nice job. I really love it. I hope you enjoyed those customer quilts today. They are always such a joy to see what you're creating, and I love doing your long arm quilting for you. So if you are in need of long arm quilting services, you can download my long arm prep in order form. My long arm prep instructions in the order form, they're on either side of the same page, has all the instructions on how to get your quilts to me. You can also check out my website, tammyernestquilting.com, and you can download it from there as well. And I hope you will join me again next week, because every quilt is worth finishing. We'll see you then.